Maneva na say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
Mema wakwaba ede ba PENDREAM TV so make sure say obe subscribe to channel no click bell so say the news to our sabit me aka ntem no watie afa so make sure say obe like na wa comment no share ama afoforo so nsaka na comment section ho so no opese wo kire wa adwen obetimi ede wadwen kire ato honom na amanfo so anya bia kenkan na onim say PENDREAM TV there eye nsem a ekoso Ghana yam politics mu ne ede ba na yasaka ya na ede abranti na so me video I saka pese no che na ye dey ba nti me mo modern astro so obehwe video we amana si awie na wa kire wa adwen e comment section na se yenko video.
So it is important to emphasize that the whole notion that passports should be reserved for a certain elite category of Ghanaians is what I disagree with. Passports are not a privilege. Passports should not be reserved for the wealthy, for those who are rich or who belong to a certain class in society. I vehemently oppose that notion. That has been put at the center of this discussion, and we have to dispel that and demolish it with all the force we can muster. There are thousands of students who on a yearly basis get admissions, full scholarship admissions. All they have to do is show up at an embassy with a passport. I would not classify those students as wealthy Ghanaians. Many of them actually get those scholarships because they have made a case that they are brilliant but needy. They are not in elite families who have the means to afford those scholarships. And that is why they have been awarded those scholarships. Those category of Ghanaians are not wealthy. Then you have those who, because of medical conditions, may have to be flown out. You and I know that there are so many medical conditions that we are still building capacity as a country. And there are times that it is advised that you seek experts, medical attention outside. In those circumstances, I wouldn't say that it's a luxury. Passports become a luxury commodity. As ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, there have been times that families have approached us that, look, our relative abroad is in some difficulty or the other. They need a relative to show up there. It could even be disease. Come process and have your body. They are not wealthy. So this whole notion that suddenly passports have become such a rare, wealthy piece of document that should be reserved for a certain privileged few must be demolished. That's the first point I want to emphasize. Then the second point, which really just leaves me outraged, is the way and manner the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration went about this.
How did they go about it? The
bad faith, the undermining of Parliament, and particularly the Foreign Affairs Committee. That is why I am so livid about the approach. You don't treat Parliament, you don't treat your committee according to the standing orders of Parliament, the committee that has oversight. Your first point of call is the Foreign Affairs Committee. I hold in my hands here the verbatim report of the proceedings of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, dated 12 December 2023. And this verbatim report becomes very, very crucial because during the week, I have been subjected to a barrage of attacks. Some have said that I supported this in secrecy at the committee level, behind the scenes. My public objection to this is hypocritical. I'm exhibiting double standards. I've been called all kinds of names. But the verbatim report, what transpired at the Foreign Affairs Committee, will settle this course. So, during the consideration of the estimate for the foreign ministry for the 2024 fiscal year, the ministry appeared before our committee. And Doc, it was at this committee meeting on the 12th of December 2023 that the ministry raised this matter of increasing passport application fees for the first time. And I'm going to read, with your permission, extracts from this verbatim report. So this is Mr. Amprechum Sapong, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, speaking. The Foreign Minister walked in later when you read the transcripts, the verbatim report. He says, and I quote, "The ministry is going to appear before Parliament on the issue of passport fees. And I hope that when the time comes, we will look at it. The supply of our passport is bulk press. They also supply same to Liberia. Liberia charges $40 for their biometric, and as we speak, it is under review. In Ghana, we pay about $8 per booklet. Mr. Chairman, indulge me because this is a key area. In the whole West African region, Ghana's passport is the cheapest at $7.76, followed by Liberia $40, Benin is $50, Burkina Faso is $80. It goes on and on. Then I interject. This is Mr. Blackwell. Mr. Chairman, I want the Honorable Deputy Minister to guide me. All the countries he has listed, are they using the same biometric and not chip embedded passport? This is very important because I have seen a lot of this generalization. They pick countries and just how much they are charging and they are comparing. But you have to compare like with like. We don't all use the same kind of passports. Some are ahead using chip embedded passports. We are really behind the world using biometric passports. That's what we are using in Ghana. So you can understand that ours will be cheaper. And this is the minister's response. The Deputy Minister, Honorable Aprechum, says no. So these countries they are comparing us with, they are not using the same passports. Then he continues, but that is why I said that Ghana and Liberia use the same supplier, which is bulk press. It is important because we are coming to members. Then the Honorable Dixon Adumako Kisi, a good friend, interjects and says, you will need his support. That's referring to the support of the NDC side. Then the Honorable Aprechum Sapong comes back. He says, he has already given his support. I have had about 5 meetings with him. Then Patrick Buama, who is shocked, says, oh, really? He has given his support. Then I come in. I said, Mr. Chairman, for the record, I told him to bring the proposal so we can assess it. I do not want colleagues to say that I have committed when we have not discussed this matter. Unquote. Then the chairman steps in. That's the Honorable and the Apia Kubi. Honorable members, the Honorable Deputy Minister is seeking our support to move this process. Indeed, it cannot be said that the Ghanaian passport goes for $8 when we cannot break even and others are selling it at a higher price. If we want to continue giving passports to our citizens, they would have to pay commensurate fees for it. A passport is not something everyone uses. You will need it when you want to use it. So I am sure the committee is not divided on this position. We will need to provide passports and they must attract commensurate fees so that our agency can continue to provide the service. If the agency is unable to provide the service, it will mean that not every applicant can get a passport. Then I come back as I'm about to conclude. So, Okudzeto Ablakwa comes in. I say, Mr. Chairman, I would like to appeal that we go step by step. At this point, we do not have a specific proposal before us. If we go ahead of ourselves and commit the committee, what if they bring $200 or $300 later? We can all appreciate the compelling case that the Deputy Minister has made. However, let us have their proposal. Are we going to have one quantum leap or will it be graduated? Let us have something before us, then we can commit. So the chairman comes in and gives the final ruling. Mr. Chairman, speaking now, says, all right, this was something that we threw in, but let us prepare our minds to expect this. And when it comes, all of us should appreciate the problems we have and solve it. Director of Passports, kindly go on. So this is what transpired at the Foreign Affairs Committee. The matter was not concluded. The ministry agreed that they will go put together their proposals and come before us properly. Only for us to hear later that they have bypassed the Foreign Affairs Committee, taking advantage of the fees and charges LI, and just smuggled it in there when the Foreign Affairs Committee was waiting for their proposal. Doc, do you know that this business of subsidy, and you made reference to it, do you know that as a ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I cannot vouch for this claim?
How?
Because if you go through all the budget estimates, line by line, of the Foreign Ministry, throughout the 7 years I've served on the committee, you will not see a single year that there is passport subsidy there. So I ask the question, where is the subsidy coming from? You see, inherent in our passport application fees structure is a certain cross subsidy. So you see, the wealthy category of applicants who ask for premium service, VIP service, expedited service, who ask for bigger passports, the 48-page booklet, which is higher than the 32-page booklet which goes for every ordinary Ghanaian. They pay more, far more. And my understanding always, and I spoke to the Honorable Hanatete about this, the former foreign minister, is that that is what is used to subsidize the rest.
So you're saying that you have not seen.
I haven't seen
anywhere in the budget of the
Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
even when they meet you as a committee,
yes,
to say that we need X amount of money
to subsidize
because maybe it cost us Y
exactly
to pay for the passports and we get X in terms of the costing.
Exactly.
You've not seen it.
Never seen it. It doesn't exist.
Now, in making a case for this increment, did the ministry not make that case? No, so, apart from the comparison with how much other countries pay, did they not do an analysis of how much it costs?
So they didn't. So you see, they just raised this matter on the sidelines of the budget approval for the 2024 fiscal year. Mm-hmm. They were not prepared. That is why we concluded, if you look at the verbatim report, that they have to go and prepare and come back to us. That's a separate matter we must consider. And they agreed. That was the agreement, that they will come back so that they bring this analysis. Because I asked, if you read this verbatim report, I'm hearing subsidies for the first time. What is that figure? They can tell us. If you ask any Foreign Affairs Committee member now, today, how much ballpark figure? Is it 10 million, 20 million, 100 million, 1 billion that government claims to be spending on subsidizing passports? Nobody can tell you.
Let me find something out from you. And it's also good that we have an experienced MP here, a former MP as well. Now, the fees and charges, government fees and charges, are approved by Parliament.
Yes.
So, for example, when we had the controversy with respect to the dialysis unit, Kolebu made a case that, look, this is how much we charge. This is how much it costs to get in the dialysis.
The dialysis consumables.
Yes, the consumables. This is how much it costs. Yeah. And so, if this is how much we're charging and this is how much it costs us, there is this gap. We either must adjust the price or somebody must pay for that difference. And that, for me, was the basis for asking for the increment in the fees and, of course, the charges. Now, I would expect that for every government agency or institution that is covered by these fees and charges, that makes a case to Parliament for an increment, that there will be a justification. And that justification, one of the key things will be the issue of the cost as against the price, as a basis for.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And are you saying that in the case of the passport, this has not been done?
It's not been done. It's not been done.
So how can Parliament approve?
It's not been done. And so that is why we stood it down. This verbatim report is here. That is why at the Foreign Affairs Committee, we stood this down.
So how did it pass?
And the chairman's ruling was that they should go and come back later. Because if you ask me today, as ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, how much is that subsidy? I can't tell you. How much does it cost to print a passport? I can't tell you. And you know what is worse, Doc? For almost 10 years, Ghana has been preparing to introduce a chip-embedded passport. These current increments, is it for the existing biometric passports, which appears to be the case, which we are fading out? The foreign minister has announced that in 6 months, she is hoping that we will introduce the chip-embedded passports, which Ghana should have done many years ago. The Honorable Hannah Tete had almost concluded the process, but of course, procurement wranglings and all of that, and this regime was set to, set all of us back. Now, will this new fee structure be reviewed? Or is this being done in anticipation? It's just a mess.